this episode of the 5150. First of all, I want to thank you for watching, everyone that supports the interview segment here. Today, I'm very excited to announce my guest. About 2.5, 3 years ago, here in Los Angeles, I kept getting told by respectable people in the subterranean underground scene that I should check out this band called Early Moods. You know, to get out of my little wolf's lair isolation fucking capsule and go check out these young lads named Early Moods, that they were just truly fucking a great band. I'm very pleased to announce with me today my guest, Ed Andrade. Did I pronounce that correctly?
Yeah, Andrade, yeah.
Ed Andrade of Early Moods. How you doing there, young man?
I'm pretty good, man. How about you? Just enjoying my Friday night.
Hey, man, let me just tell you something. You and your fellow bandmates are indeed what I would say or label heavy duty. Young lads doing heaviness correctly. I always write that down when it comes to your band. You guys indeed have old souls and young bodies. Very impressed with your band. Did I get the timeline right? Like about 3 years ago is when you and I started chatting.
I think so. Yeah, I could be wrong. I want to say it within the last couple years or something. Yeah.
Dude, I was surprised to find out that you guys were around from like 2015. You've been around that long as
Yeah, we've
early.
been around since 2015. Me and Albert, the vocalist, we started this band as a just kind of like our love for classic, heavy rock, doom bands and stuff like that. Because me and him, prior to that, were already playing in a couple LA, random bullshit backyard bands and stuff like that. But me and him grew up on that stuff when we started that project. But yeah, 2015 we started, but we didn't really pick up till like 2018, 2019 because in that gap we were just going through people. I was just trying to find friends that could just help me out and jam and yeah, like I mean, we had friends that would fill in for a couple months and they're not into it anymore, and then that would just delay everything even more. But yeah, 2015 we started.
Wow, you know what? This is what even was more surprising to me. You guys come from I see like to me when I see you perform, when I listen to your releases, which we'll talk about in depth, but when I first saw you perform, I was completely blown away because I forget that you're young people, you're young men. I mean, you
Yeah.
guys are true road dogs. The live show is just completely powerful, and it just seems that you guys been doing this for like forever. And then I was surprised to find out that you guys have been doing this forever, but coming up from the thrash LA scene and so forth. So that explains a lot
Yeah.
why you have that musicianship maturity.
Yeah, I mean, just, we're musicians and, playing live music is what we strive for and live for. And it's, something that's, really, it's important. It's in part of our lives. And, I can't see myself not playing live.
You guys are true war dogs, man. I mean, let me just say this real quick. You're road warriors. You just came back from a tour with Municipal Waste. Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah. We just did a East Coast tour last December with Municipal Waste, High on Fire, and a band called Gel. And yeah, we did 3 weeks out there. Started like in Vermont. And no, sorry, like New Hampshire, like all the way on top, and then it ended in Tampa, Florida.
And let me ask you this: was this the first time you were in the East Coast?
No, before this, we actually were there in July. We did a small tour with Valiant Thor, a like kind of really cool rock band from Richmond, Virginia. We did a couple of small shows out there, but that one was actually Early Mood's first time ever in the East Coast. I mean, I visited there in the past, but this was the band's first time playing out there.
And what's interesting is you've been building a very solid fan base, not only nationwide but worldwide, which is interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty trippy. I've been definitely seeing a lot of, you get a lot of messages on our social media platforms, messages from people from all over the world, like Europe, especially. And, you get people from Japan and like South America, and they send us pictures of their vinyls. And I mean, I see like, because I know that the year just ended. We're getting a lot of album of the year nominations from like crazy parts of the world. That's pretty overwhelming. I'm like, shit, people give a fuck about this.
Yeah, man. I mean, well, let me tell you something. The reason why you're getting this recognition is because, like I mentioned, the band sound, the way you deliver that sound live on stage, and this is what's most important. I've any chance I get to see you here locally in Los Angeles, I venture out. I've interacted with you guys. I think a lot of it has to do also with the energy that you guys come. You're all humble, you're all sincere. No one has any narcissistic LA rock star bullshit, and you truly don't talk the talk, you walk it. You guys really up there when you're up on stage, you deliver. As I mentioned before, and I don't really want to harbor on the age thing, but it's impressive. You guys truly do it correctly. And so my question to you is what were the origins of this influence? Where did the nucleus of early moods begin? Because
I want to say,
by that.
yeah, I want to say the beginning of all this has to do with my dad. Growing up, my dad had this crazy record collection in my garage, and I was small, I was bored. Even though he told me don't touch my records, I would still dig through them. And I remember like first seeing like the first Budgie record or Richie Blackmore's Rainbow or you
Beautiful.
know like ZZ Top or the one that really changed me was the live UFO record.
Oh, dude, that's a great
Yeah,
record.
which I found out in my dad's garage and like the fuck. I'm like, what's this? And I'm like, who's Michael Schenker? And so yeah, I want to say all of that I mean, all that came from my dad. And my dad took me to my first shows. He took me to go see the first Sabbath reunion and Iron Maiden and yeah, like I said, all my classic influence came from him. Like bands like like I said, UFO, Budgie, and like Rainbow and Uriah Heep and early Scorpions, the best Scorpions. Yeah.
So you really had it literally you were introduced to really good music right from the gate. When it comes to early moods, one of the things that's very distinctive about your band that I really enjoy is, as you know now, or I'd say maybe the last 10 years, heavy music or whatever label it is this week, doom or stoner or whatever, is has become very, very popular, very marketable, and there's a lot of bands that have jumped on that bandwagon. What what is very different about you guys is that you can tell that it's in your DNA. You're not trying to in any way, shape, or form mimic or replicate your mentors or idols. And you get out on the road, which a lot of bands do not. They rely on social media and the new modern way of promotion. You guys get in a van and you go out on the road. How do you capture all those experiences and transform them into the writing of early moods?
Well, like you were mentioning, when it comes to the creation of this band, I'm really, you could definitely hear a lot of influences from certain bands in early moods. Of course you're gonna hear Sabbath, Candlemass, Witchfinder General, Pentagram, stuff like that. But definitely when it comes to the writing process, I try to incorporate a lot of influences. Influences from just like different parts of my life. Let's say like I'll be on the road checking out like a band or something, or I'll go dig into like like a record store, and you know anything I come across will find its way into the writing process. Like I said, I of course like you can hear some of the influences of my idols, but I definitely try to incorporate like my certain influences, not just mine, but everyone else in the band too. Like me, I come from like a death metal background. Believe it or not, I take a lot of influence from some death metal bands and stuff like that. But yeah, I definitely try to shoot for. I try to incorporate a bunch of different parts of music in this world into this. From heavy metal to death metal to some black metal stuff like that. But yeah.
That infusion is done very well, man. Because when I first captured your live show and listened to Spellbound, which was the prior EP, uh, prior to the full length that you released. By the way, let's mention that you have a full length that came out late 2022, and it is on Rising Easy Records. For those of you that have not picked up that record, make sure you check it out. And if is it Dying Victims where the EP was released?
Yeah. So we had a German label, Dying Victims, that put out Spellbound in 2020. He put it out on CD and vinyl. Yeah, and then Writing Easy picked us up like a year and a half later, and yeah, our record just came out with them like a couple months ago.
That's a great label, man. They got a lot of great bands on that roster.
Yeah, it's the
You
the
guys
record.
fit, you guys fit very well on that roster, by the way.
Yeah, the label's great. The bands are great on there. Like Fighter Breather, I mean, more Monolord used to be on there, but like Death Chan and yeah, like it's a good label. And then the people that run it, they're really cool and supportive and stuff.
It kind of seems that you guys have really, from the get go, just came off with everything positive going your way, all green lights all the way down the highway tour road. I mean, you got a great label backing you. You got great bandmates. You all gel well. You all, obviously, when you come together, come up with some great orchestrations and collaborations, and then the live show. When you play live, this is where the band really stands out. I mean, I've seen you numerous times, and each show stands on its own. It's completely just truly heavy. Are you amazed yourself when you're playing live? Because it seems like you guys are all just in your own zone, but you're enjoying it very well.
I definitely trip out, and I just I kind of think to myself like, shit, is that us? Is that me? Because
Right?
I'm
Out of body
originally
experience, right? Like,
yeah, I'm a drummer originally. And so guitar playing live, guitar is still kind of like a new thing for me. And I definitely the last couple of years have improving. I've been improving my stage performance. And I mean, when I go to a show, sometimes if you don't see that band, if you don't see the band's into it, kind of ruins it. And so I definitely when we go live, everyone knows like, hey, we want to not only sound good but look great, and show the audiences you're here to fuck shit up, and pretty much yeah, like sometimes I'll watch videos. I'm like, damn, that's us. Like, it's we get really into it because we get the feedback from the crowd, and that really does pump us up on stage. And like our singer Albert, I've known that dude since we were like 9 years old, and he's one of the shyest guys I know. And when he goes on stage, he's like a completely different person.
dude, he's a
Yeah,
monster.
yeah, I can't trip out on it because like people see him on stage, he's wild. He's all over the floor, and he's his stage presence reminds me a lot of Iggy Pop. He's all over the place, and it's crazy because off stage he's like the quietest guy ever. But it's like you go on stage and you see a side of us that doesn't really come out. And even like some family members have seen videos or have gone to our shows, and they're like, "Damn, like that's you guys!" Like, because like I said, we're kind of like quiet introvert guys outside the band. Like we're not really like wild or anything, but we definitely are different people on stage in a good way.
I would like to say that it's not that you're introverts. I think it's just you guys are real. That's the difference between real bands and then, you know, trying to be whatever label or whatever influence or whatever they're trying to mimic.
Yeah.
You guys are the real deal. Very
Thank
impressive
you.
you guys are very impressive young lads. You got a lot of exciting things coming up this new year. You're going on your own US tour.
Yeah, and we're taking off like 3.5 weeks. It's our I mean, we've done a headline tour in the past, but it was like 2.5 weeks. This is like a real proper US tour booked, and we just got a new agent named Nathan Carson, awesome guy. He represents like a lot of bands like Acid King and Cyril Tongo and a lot of good stuff. So we just got him, and he booked this tour for this. It's about a month long. And yeah, we're really excited for it. It's like a professionally booked tour, and we're playing with a bunch of great bands on this tour, and we're really looking forward to it. It's gonna be a long one, but I'm excited. We live for the road pretty much.
Let me ask you this. Your prior tours, have they been sporadic, like a couple dates? Is this like one that's consistent with an abundant amount of tour dates?
This one, I think it's like 20. I mean, it's like a whole month, and we get 2 days off the entire tour. The previous tours we've done, I've done all the booking before we got our agent. I always did everything, all the booking and all our first tours. And even when I would route the tours, I routed them pretty good to where like every show was pretty close, everything was back to back. But yeah, it's kind of this similar situation where you got like 1 or 2 days off.
Well, man, let me tell you. So, like, the tour starts in San Diego, Brick by Brick. That's a great place. That's February 16th. And then the last date of the tour is March 11th at Transplants Brewery for those that here in SoCal. Make sure you go to Early Moods' social media sites or the record label to check out the tour dates on that. Are you excited to be hitting the road for this long on your own? This is your headlining tour?
Yeah, I'm honestly really excited because, I mean, the last couple of tours we did, we were supporting, we were a support band. So our time slot wasn't as much. And I mean, we have a ton of new material we've been working on. And this tour, since it's our headlining tour, we're gonna be able to perform not only material from our record that just came out, but we already have 7 songs into or like our new record we're working on, and we're going to start playing some of those songs live. And yeah, this headline tour is definitely going to be awesome because we're going to have the freedom to do a lot of the stuff we want to do, play an hour set. And like I said, we have a bunch of killer bands playing with us on the tour. I'm looking forward to catching too.
One of the things I want to ask you, I don't know if you want to answer it, is since you have been on the road as a supporting act, have you ever encountered the horrors of being a supporting act, like fucking narcissistic headliners being dicks or anything like that, or have you been fortunate?
It's weird with this band. All the tours we've done supporting other bands, they've been awesome. Like,
That's awesome, man.
yeah, like we've done 2 headline tours like last year. Like, it was small run, so just us. But the time we did do supporting tours, like the Valiant Thor one, we did with a band called Savage Master.
Great
That
band.
was like a great, yeah, we did a tour with them. They're awesome, great people. And, we became real good friends. And same thing with the Municipal Waste Tour. It was like everyone just, got together so well. Municipal Waste, like High on Fire and like Gel, like we were all hanging out and they would all watch us at the side of the stage, and we all hang out after. And it was cool. It's like, wow. It's like, you know, um, thankfully we haven't witnessed none of that ego bullshit with some headliners, but we've gotten lucky. We've been able to support some real cool bands, and like the Municipal Waste, these are like the coolest guys ever too. So that tour is really fun.
Have you been surprised how you've been winning audiences over? Because I mean, one of the things that's also impressive about you guys is, and let me say this very, very adamantly, is that you guys are indeed true musicians and will play anywhere with anyone at any time, which is impressive to see in the younger generation. I mean, you guys play with like different types of bands, different types of audiences, and you're able to capture all these audiences. Are you amazed by that?
Yeah, I'm pretty amazed and tripped out by that because like you said, we've been thrown on like different kinds of bills, and like, some bills you wouldn't even imagine. It's like crazy. Like we played a heavy metal festival out in Chicago last May. It was like with Riot, Nasty Savage, and like a bunch of heavy metal bands. And the booker got in contact with us and he threw us on. And we were kind of excited. Like, we're like, damn, let's see if people like Doom, and like we showed up and people just loved this, and we definitely got a big following after that in Chicago. But yeah, like it's crazy because with Early Moods, you could throw us like on a heavy metal bill or like a rock and roll bill or like a doom bill, and people will still, I guess, enjoy it. Like on the Municipal Waste tour, we were kind of like a little worried about it. Like, damn, you're gonna play for like different kind of audience. So, you got the Municipal Waste thrash crowd, and you got like the High on Fire kind of like sludge crowd, and then you have the Gel, the hardcore crowd. So, and then when we play these shows, like, man, everyone just got into it, and we definitely won a lot of fans on that tour. And people were like, damn, I never heard of you guys, and you guys definitely reminded me of like that traditional classic doom stuff. And it was cool. We definitely won a lot of people on that tour. But yeah, I was surprised that that people did enjoy it and stuff.
Well, you know what, man? I've always said good music is good music, and those that appreciate good music will always respond well when they see something being done real. Let's get back to the tour that you're going on here.
Mm-hmm.
It starts again, as I mentioned, in San Diego on the February 16th. It ends here in Southern California, or the outskirts, 311 on March 11th at Transplants Brewery. How do you keep that energy, that consistency for the stage going while you're on tour? Because fucking touring's grueling, dude. I get sick just being on the freeway going from here to San Bernardino or wherever. In 2 hours, I'm already drained. How do you keep that energy?
Honestly, just getting like enough rest and sleep and not eating like shit. I mean, even though I'm telling you this, we're still doing that. We're still eating like shit, sleeping like shit. But they definitely, we're smart about it. We know how to do certain dumb things when we're on the road. Like, it's because it is tough. You got to wake up, early, drive a couple hours, get to the venue, unload, sound check, and then you're able to hang out for a bit, and then boom, you got to play the stage, unload, and then repeat. You got to drive, or try to find out where you're gonna stay at, and like I like personally me, like I mean, I do drink every now and then, but I'm not a heavy drinker or anything. I'll definitely have a drink here and there and stuff like that, but not to the point where I don't want to wake up hungover and stuff. Um, but yeah, like when we're on the road, we kind of just try to keep it calm, and especially when we're like on long drives, we just try to play some good music and just kind of just have a good mentality. Because if you can have like a bad state of mind, it will just ruin it for you.
You know what? I guess it helps that you guys all get along as well, man. I mean, it seems like you all gel well as a unit. Am I correct on that?
Yeah, yeah, we're all good friends. Like I said, I've known Albert since we were kids. But we're all close as brothers. But of course, brothers are gonna clash heads every now and then. Nothing's perfect and stuff. But at the end of the day, we're all cool with each other. And I feel like that's something special. That's kind of hard to find nowadays. And in bands, it's like everyone that gets along with each other and everyone that's able to communicate. Even like on a personal and musical level.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, I think you guys are truly blessed. It's amazing what you have achieved right now. Just starting out. You mentioned that you've been writing consistently and you have new music. How do you do that while on tour? Because it seems like every time I look at your page, you guys are coming from and getting ready to go out. Do you write
Yeah.
on?
Excuse me.
Do you write while you're on tour?
I mean, I try to. Yeah, sometimes. Like on the Municipal Waste Store, every time we found like a spot where, in between sound check to the doors open, I would kind of find my own spot to sit down and I'll write some riffs and stuff like that. And I usually will record something on my phone, like, hey, I like that riff. I'm gonna say it for last time. But usually I'll write when I get home from a tour, like on my free time. I honestly like to just stay in my room and just write, listen to music, get some influence and stuff like that. That's where I do most of my writing. But yeah, even on the road and in past previous tours, I try to sneak my guitar every now and then somewhere, and I'll just sit down and just jam and see what comes out. But yeah,
Are you the predominant songwriter of the band, or do you all get together and jam out?
I mean, we all present stuff, to each other, but I do write majority of the music. But a lot of these songs cannot be completed, without the guys. Like for example, I'll usually have a structure of a song, and I'll bring it to Oscar, my other guitar player in early moods. And he'll be like, hey, let's try this, or let's switch this around, or let's try this version of the riff. And majority of the time his ideas work. And like I said, like it's definitely like everyone has an input on the writing songs, but I'll usually bring like majority of the song already done, and I'll present it to them. It is something they feel like it could be better, or something they don't like, they'll tell me, and from there we'll work on it.
Well, I got to tell you, man, the chemistry is incredible. Let's mention the rest of the guys because they deserve to be mentioned. The band that you have is truly impressive. As you mentioned, Albert is your vocalist. He does a fucking fantastic job. The only thing that I find disturbing about your live shows is watching him headbang. I mean, I hope he does neck exercises because fuck, when he gets to be my age, heaven forbid he has any injuries from that. So please tell him like to take care of his neck. He reminds me of fucking Tom Araya back in his young days, and I'd hate to see him go through surgery. But let's
Yeah,
mention Oscar. Is that Oscar Hernandez, the
Oscar
guitarist?
Hernandez. Yeah,
And then Chris
yeah, Chris Flores drums.
Flores. It's amazing how I can't believe I can't read my own writing. Chris Flores on drums and Elix.
Yeah, we got Elix Feliciano on bass. Yeah,
That rhythm section you got is fucking impeccable as well. Really.
yeah, thank you. Elix is actually the original second guitar player. He joined like in 2016, 2017, and but because he's from New Jersey, and he moved from New Jersey over here, and he joined the band. And after a while, like I said, I was in other bands and I was busy touring, so he kind of just went back home. But yeah, like when we were started to write again, he moved back, And
Are you pleased to see the progression of the band and where you're at? Because it has been a relatively short time.
yeah, I'm kind of like pretty shocked and very happy. We've done a lot since, like we started. get- as soon as I got this lineup, pretty much things started picking up for us, and I'm very happy how things have been going. With like getting signed to Riding Easy, doing all these great shows, and we did Psycho last August, which was awesome. We did two performances, and so yeah, a lot of things are going well for us, and it's stuff that I would never thought would happen.
Well, it's right. It's righteously deserved. You guys deserve it because you guys are hardworking young men. You guys, as I mentioned before, are real. The way you carry yourselves, the way you interact with people, you're humble, you're sincere, you're definitely hardworking, and you are truly road dogs and heavy duty. Let's mention your
Thank you.
let's mention yourself your uh your album Writing Easy. It came out late last year. It's still available on Writing Easy Records, correct?
Yeah, yeah. From
Self-titled Early Moods.
yeah, self-titled. From what I know, there's still some copies on the website and everything.
You're going on tour. You're going to be on tour for a while. When you come back, are you planning on going in the studio with this new material that you've written?
That's the plan. Yeah, like originally we wanted to hit the studio as soon as we come back, like the week after we come back from this tour. But um, I'm still working on more songs, and I want to be able to have those songs ready. So I'm thinking of hitting the studio a month, like after we come back from our tour. So hopefully in April
Let's
to
talk
record
about
this.
that. What direction are the new songs going in? Are they following in the same Early Moods kind of?
It's in the same direction, but it's definitely going to be a little bit different. Like I said, I try to incorporate a lot of influence. I could definitely hear a lot of like classic heavy metal influence in there, and but you still get that traditional doom vibe, that pentagram, like Uncle Acid vibe and stuff like that. But yeah, these songs they're sounding amazing. I'm really proud of them, and we've played like one or two of them live and like random shows. And the time we've played them, people have asked me, "Yo, what song is that? What song is that?" And I've told them, "Oh, it's one of the new songs we're working on." And from the feedback we've got from our close friends and from I've heard it, they really love it. And yeah, like I'm really excited with this new material to show people.
Yeah, man. I mean, you should send me a demo just for my ears only. I'd love to hear that new stuff, man.
Yeah, I'll make that happen.
I could just imagine where you're going. Do you find yourself being that you're, I don't want to say the principal songwriter, but you pretty much orchestrate the beginnings of it. Do you find yourself as a writer having a hard time to trying to top what you've written, or do you just not even think in that artistic way?
It's weird when our album just came out. I was like, damn. I was like, wow. Like, once when it came out, I like sat down and I put the whole record on, and I try to listen to it from a audience perspective, like a fan perspective. And I was like, wow, this is pretty sick shit. I'm really happy with this. And when I get that, vibe from myself, I'm like, I know I did good. I'm like, all right, cool.
Do
And then
you follow your intuition?
yeah, and then I started kind of thinking like, damn, the second album, like I'm like, will I be able to top this? And for a couple of weeks, I was kind of just overthinking. I'm like, shit. And I tried sitting down and writing, and nothing was coming out. And then I started overthinking, and then I'm like, you know what? Just don't even think about it. So I didn't think about it. I didn't touch my guitar for a couple of weeks and stuff like that. And then I slowly started writing some songs, and then I'm just piecing them together, and then I'm starting to realize like, damn, these are great songs, potentially better than the first album just came out. And I was like, wow, like now I'm at the point where I got six songs. One of them completely written by Oscar, a great song too. But these songs sound amazing, and I'm confident to say they're better than this than our debut album.
Well, I got to say, man, you guys are impressive young men. And I'm looking forward to having you guys hit the road and then coming back to SoCal to end it. Looking forward to seeing you guys. Please keep me posted on when you go into the studio and possible release. Will the new music possibly be out on Writing Easy Records?
Oh yeah, it's gonna be on Writing Easy Records. Yeah.
Are you planning on going overseas or to the Far East, Japan, or any of that? Because you have fans in Japan. I don't know if you're aware of that.
Yeah, I know.
Isn't
We got
that
a couple.
crazy? Does it trip you out when you get like notifications like, "Hey, there's some dude in Indonesia rocking your shit"?
Yeah, we got a lot of shit from Japan, but I mean, we are scheduled this year to go to Europe, but we're trying to, the whole booking agents are trying to figure all that stuff out right now. But I mean, we are scheduled right now to play that Desert Fest London.
Oh,
With
you
like
know what? Let me mention that. Jesus, I'm off my game here. You're also going to be playing the Northwest Terror Fest, which is May 20, what is it? May 25th to May 27th. Just look at some of the acts that are on this bill. Yob, Conan, Necrot, Antichrist Seas Machine, Autopsy. Speaking of death metal, fuck, that's
yeah, that's the
good, man.
festival. We're booked in Seattle. That should be cool. We're playing with a lot of our idols. Autopsy. I'm like a huge Autopsy fan, so I'm excited to be doing that. But yeah, we got that fest booked, and then we got that North Terror Fest, both in the month of May. But yeah, I mean, there's some talks maybe for a potential European tour in the fall, but like I said, it's just kind of like up in the air right now.
Let me ask you something personal. You don't have to answer this. You guys are very young men, and you're good looking young men. And I'm sure some of you have girlfriends. How do you deal with the whole girlfriend and the female fan aspect? And how do you keep all that separate from not contaminating the band or the creative process or going on tour? Because I know you guys take your chicks on tour.
Well, majority of us don't have chicks right now, but yeah, like I said, like
I
doing
wouldn't
this,
lie.
well, yeah, it's like if you're on the road so much that it's so hard to maintain like a steady girlfriend or something. It's because at the end of the day, you're gone for a month and you come back, you're home for a couple of weeks, and then you leave for another month, and it's like, of course, it's going to be unhealthy for a relationship.
Yeah. Why would you
But
want a relationship, man? You got the whole world right now. It's like the
yeah,
world is yours, bro. Sample everything and anything.
yeah, but yeah, like I said, like chicks are great and all, but they're like not really our priority. And it's kind of like the music comes first, and you know,
Very impressive young man. I love the way you think. I love the way you act. I love the way you conduct yourselves. And it's very, very rare for an old man like me to be impressed with the youth. But you guys are indeed stellar young men. And as I mentioned prior, heavy duty.
thank you,
The
man.
record, the self-titled record is on Speakeasy, Writing Easy Records. You're going to be going on tour, as I mentioned. Let me mention the date again. It starts February 16th, Brick by Brick, San Diego. You're going to be playing the end of the tour, March 11th, Transplant Brewery. That's a great place, by the way.
Yeah, we played there before.
Any possible LA dates, like undercover,
Yeah, we have a LA date, I think that week.
maybe
We come back. It's gonna
maybe
be
my
announced.
backyard one day, maybe.
Huh?
Maybe my backyard one day,
I mean, I
birthday
think
gift.
I'm waiting on the final announcement on it, but it's gonna be when we come back. It's gonna be a couple of days later, and it's gonna be with like a band we really like too. So
Some, please keep me in the loop.
yeah, you'll see an announcement.
Early moods. I got to say it, and I'll say it once again: the real deal. No joke. No fucking around. Coming from a city where a lot of shit is not real. People try to mimic, try to replicate. Don't come from a credible place. These young men are the real deal. If you haven't checked them out live, you must. You must. In the meantime, pick up their releases. As I mentioned again, the self-titled record right now is available. Rising Easy Records. They're going to be on tour, coming to a city near you. Go on their social media page, check out the dates, go check them out. You will not be disappointed. Ed, I want to thank you for taking the time to be on the 5150. Thank you for dealing with the technology bullshit aspect of today's times.
No worries, man. We were long overdue for an interview. Like I said, just
Please
I'm
give
old school, I grew up without no computer, so
Yeah, me too, man. I mean, this is all new terrain for me as well. Please give the best to the guys. I really respect you, young men, and I wish you, young men, and I wish you nothing but the best. Safe travels on the road, safe returns.
you too, man. Thanks, Jimmy. I'll talk to you soon, man.
Take care, Ed.